Check, 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 check. Test, test, test. Okay, let's do this. Let's switch over to paint. Okay, we got paint up. I'm gonna start recording. Can the people hear me? It says I'm live. Okay, looks like we're good to go. I'm gonna start painting like dumb early in the morning. I get up between sometimes 4, sometimes 4:30, sometimes 5 a.m. And I have a lot of downtime in the morning before the day really gets started. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start painting. I'm going to paint in the mornings and just kind of knock it out and get it out of the way. The night before, I guess I'll set up my situation, and then I could just hit record and stream in the morning. So I know people may not be able to see it this early, but maybe they will. Maybe before people go to work, they just want to have like a chill paint session. If you're a painter yourself, I encourage you to paint while I'm painting, because just get those hours in. And so we're gonna get started. All right, let's make sure everything is going the way that it's supposed to go. Recording's happening, streaming is happening. Also, I set it up to where it's has better resolution. My resolution the last time wasn't so great, so I fixed that, and so I was happy about that. All right, so let's get started. So it's just a portrait of a person. So I'm going to just blocking in the shape, getting in the background a little bit. Nothing too fancy. I have the portrait zoomed out like really, really far, just so I can get the colors down. This is something that I wish you could do. I guess you could do that with oil painting. Like you could just stand really far back, get a really long brush, the longest brush you can find. But that's one of the plus sides to digital painting. Like you really can zoom out like super far and get the big picture in a way that I don't know if that is possible to do in a real way with traditional media. I mean, maybe I'll discover a way. To stand back really, really far and just get the gist, get the big colors, the big shapes of the painting. That's something I gotta work on. People want to know, I paint on one layer. It's just easier for me. It just makes it more simple. I know some people like to paint on multiple layers, and I guess in case they make an accident or make a mistake, they can like paint over it. But I'm so used to painting with oils that there's only one layer. There's no multiple layers in oil paint. It's just a canvas and that's it. So that's kind of the way that I paint. I know I compare oil paintings to digital a lot. I don't know. I think it's helpful to kind of understand the differences. I think it's useful. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but just, hey, this is slightly different if you do it this way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So right now, I'm really just blocking in the big shapes of her body and her head. And, in the past, what I would do is, because I really like drawing portraits and painting portraits, I would focus on the head, but the head wouldn't be attached to anything, so it would kind of just be floating, and so it would look crazy. So now I'm really trying to push myself and challenge myself to get the whole shape, because getting the shape informs the shape of the body, informs the position of the head. You really could save yourself some headache later on by just getting it right. And by getting the body right, then I get the head right, and it's a lot easier to put the head where it's supposed to be, since you have like a starting point, somewhere to connect to. It's not as easy to do if you I should have put my time on. Let me put my time on. I always forget to put my time on. I'm trying to keep these to under an hour. Let me find my timer. Under an hour, 25 minute stints. I use a Pomodoro timer, which is it's just a timer that breaks things down in 25-minute increments, and every 4 times it gives you a longer break, so like a 25-minute break. And so it's just to avoid burnout. Also, it's to get started. Sometimes if you're a procrastinator like me, you have trouble getting started, and just setting the timer and saying, okay, I'm only gonna do 25 minutes here. Like that's the plan. Like my only goal is to do 25 minutes. It really helps to just set the timer. And so a lot of times, since starting is the hard part, if you can do the 25 minutes and you're already like in it, you'll end up doing more. You'll do more time. So it's cool. Alright, so it's working on the arms. Like just trying to get the general shapes. I'm just trying to make sure that the shapes are in the right place. My last video I talked about how, as a beginning artist or beginning painter, you get so caught up in making it look like what you're trying to paint that you're not focusing on just getting the shapes and putting the colors in the right place. So I'm really trying to improve on that ability to be able to see the big picture and put the shapes down correctly, and not worry so much about the end result. Like keeping it in mind, but not completely focusing on it, because it could be a hindrance, and it can mess you up. All right, let me save this. All right, let me just check the screen, make sure we're good. So yeah, that's something that I'm trying to work on. So I'm using a pretty solid brush. I have my opacity is at 100%. I have pen sensitivity turned on for my tablet, and my flow is at like 46% for my flow, which is pretty hard. For me, I like to paint with a softer brush, but when I'm just blocking in, just laying down the color, I just use a bigger brush, like a harder brush, just getting in those colors. And just put my darks down, just like I would do in oil painting. And so yeah, I'm still like zoomed out, like really far away. My app says I'm 25% away from how close I could be. And so, because I'm this far away, I'm not really worried about the small details. As a matter of fact, I paint the same way with oils. Like I'll use the biggest brush I can use, like an obscenely big brush, like one to where like it's almost impossible to really get any true details. And I try to do as much, like most of the painting, maybe 75%, 80% of the painting with that brush. And it really, like, I just like the way it comes out. It I don't know how to explain it. It's like loose. The painting is looser, but you still have these details. So when you walk away from the painting, you come like further back. It looks like coherent. It looks like, you know, everything is where it's supposed to be, and then you get a little closer, and then you start to notice that, you know, they're just big blobs of color. I really like that effect. There were some, you know, painters that I look up to that are really, really good at that. For instance, John Singer Sargent, I always talk about him on my channel. You know, he's an old school painter. Excellent. He was good at drawing. He was a good draftsman. And he was a great painter. And, you know, he spent a lot of time and detail on the face, but then like the clothing and like the, I guess, less, I'm using like quotation marks, the less important objects in this image, you know, it would just be like a big blah, a big mess. And I imagine he did that, you know, for stylistic reasons, but since he's human like everybody else, I imagine he did it just to save time. And he realized that the time or the effort put into like making those super small details, like it, you know, what they call it, diminishing returns. Like it didn't really add that much more to the artwork. At least I'm assuming that's what, you know, that's what he had in mind. And I get that. So it's like, why add all this extra when it's not really contributing in a real way? I could get that. Alright, so I'm still using a fairly hard brush, so this is coming along good. So I'm still very far away. I really can't really see what's going on with the details. And that's okay. Like, you know what? Maybe not this time, but maybe next time I'll do a video where I like basically do a painting and like stay zoomed out the entire time. I'm not gonna do it this time because that wasn't in the plan, but like just to, I guess, prove a point. I don't know. But look how much detail you can get, like just being far away. I think it looks cool. And I think you could come away with like some really cool stuff. Just really focusing on putting those colors down where you think they go, using the light. And then so, you know, I had this going. Once, you know, this is mapped out, you know, in a decent way, by the time it's, you know, it's time for me to go in and start, you know, putting in details, like the painting is mostly done. Like it's, you know, it's just a matter of me going in and refining it. But this is a way to like get most of the painting done, get that initial reaction, that first glance when you look at a painting and, you know, something stands out to you, like getting like just that first, oh, there's something about this, that wow, that shock factor. Like you can do most of that from far away, and then after you solidify that, you can start getting into the details. And like, you know, I guess the idea is if a person is in an art gallery or, you know, walking around a museum and they're far away from your work, you want them to be able to see the work from across the room and then come closer and want to look at the details. But you got to have that initial wow factor first, else nobody's going to roll up on the painting, you know. I think it's like that for most things related to art. It's like that with design, like graphic design. You know, you just want like architecture. You know, sometimes buildings just have this wow factor, and you want to walk up to it, and you want to see what's going on over there. You know, and sometimes things are just blah, and you're, you know. And sometimes you're forced to interact with them. You know, for instance, if it's like an ugly building, it's like a state building that you kind of just have to go into for, you gotta pay some bills or something. Like some places, you know, they're not as fun to interact with. You know, I believe that good design can can really help take things to another level. I think design is important. It's like, in the beginning of my career, like I had an idea, like, or I thought I knew the importance of design, but after doing this for like graphic design and just visual communication for like, how long am I now? Let's say I've been doing it for like 15 years. I know I still got a long way to go as far as like my career, but I've learned a lot in the process during the time. And it's important. It's important. It means a lot. Alright, so this is looking kind of interesting. Her arms are looking crazy right now. I think it'll be time to really start focusing on the subtleties, and like really focusing on getting the angles right, really putting things where they're supposed to be. So we focus on that. So now that I'm seeing, like I'm looking at the edge of the draw angle. I'm looking at the edge here, and I'm looking at this edge of her dress or her shirt, and I'm realizing that it's too far. It's too far from the edge of the image, and so it's throwing it off a little bit. So let me go in and fix that. And that's it. And then because that's off, then that means the position of her arm is off, and if the position of her arm is off, then that means her shoulder's off, and the hip bone connected to the leg bone, and blah blah blah. So it's like you have to, when you're drawing, you have to start with a landmark. You have to pick somewhere, pick a landmark, and that'll be your thing that you kind of measure the rest of the painting by. And I tend to do that with using the edge of the frame, because I can visualize it and I can see the shape. So for instance, like I can very clearly see this triangle right here, and it's easier for me to measure that out and like get a correct shape. Like I very clearly see that. Or there's another shape right here that I don't have correct right now, like that. Like I can see that shape, and I can see that's how I measure it, and I see that that shape is not right, and so I just go in and fix it until it's the perfect shape. And that means moving things over. So a lot of times with digital painting, it's like so much easier to just go in and use what they call like a liquefy tool, and I could just like move it and move the shape to where I need it to be, which is cool, I guess, but I don't like to do that, because when I'm studying using digital means, I'm also practicing for oil painting, and so I don't want to lose any gains, as they say, by using techniques that I'm not able to use in traditional media. And so if something's wrong and I gotta move it around, I just gotta move it around. Just gotta suck it up. It sucks sometimes, but then it forces you to really try to get the shapes correct before you put too much effort into it. And by effort I mean rendering it out too much. So right now it's not too bad, because it's just like big blobs of color. I haven't really gone in with any major details, and so it's not that big of a deal if I move it over, because I didn't spend a lot of time on it. But it's real easy to like say I spent like 20 minutes like making sure that arm was perfect, and then I realized that the arm was out of place, and then I gotta go move it you're not gonna want to move it. um, you just leave it there, and it'll be wrong. I guess that's okay too. All right, let me just save this and let me go back and check, make sure that this thing is still streaming. Okay, we're good. Still streaming. Let's say what's up to the people. Stream health is good. What's up, people? Alright, so I'm gonna finish solidifying this shape, and then I'll zoom in and do some more details, because I imagine this is like boring watching this from like way back here. Also, I lost so it's going to take me a while for it to come back. So when I click off my screen, as you guys can see, I lost my pressure sensitivity, and it's just, it's like a glitch. That's with Photoshop that I have to figure out how to fix. And it's just, okay, it's back. I think it's back. No, it's not back yet. And it just takes a while to come back, which is annoying. I guess in the meantime, it's annoying. There's a way, not a way around it, but you just have to be like super, super, super sensitive with your tones. Like super, 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 super sensitive. And you have to pick the colors like perfectly, which is hard to do. So just keep saving. Maybe it'll come back yet? Nope, did not come back yet. It's gonna take us a second. Why does it do that? I gotta do some research as to why it does that. Alright, let's keep going. I'll try my best with no pressure sensitivity. I'll just keep doing big blocks of color. Just get those joints in the right place. Okay. There are some artists that's how they work. They don't blend at all. Some artists just like mix the colors and then just put down big blocks of color, which I think is cool. And the painting ends up looking like very like chunky, which I think has this cool effect. Look at this. So because I got the shoulders right, like I got like the angle of her head like good, which would have took me a long time if I was just trying to do it like, I guess, blind, so to speak, not really taking into consideration, everything else that was going on. And so I think my sensitivity is back. Yes, it's back. Okay. So getting the body right really, really goes a long way. I really like painting in the morning. It's so quiet. I live in the city, so it's like a lot of hustle and bustle like throughout the day. So it's cool to just have some quiet time. There's no distractions, no disturbances. It's time for you to chill. Chill and paint. Paint and chill. Arms have always been hard for me. It's something I need to work on. It's like alright. So arms are giving me grief, but that's okay. Because I'm just gonna go back to my fundamentals and really try to remember how to work it out. So now I'm not trying to draw arms. I'm trying to put the shape down and the colors down that I see. And once I switch my mind frame to that, it becomes a lot easier. Put the shapes down, put the colors down, where they're supposed to go. It changes everything. Shapes down, put the colors down. All right, this is coming along. See how much time I got left. So I've been painting I got 4 minutes left in this 20 minute sprint. Almost done. Okay, the arm is coming along. And it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. It just takes a long time. You just gotta keep messing with it, getting the tones right. Yeah, it's a lot better than what it was. And so you guys see what I meant earlier. Like, if I spent all this time getting the arm just right, and then I found out or realized that the arm was in the wrong position, like, it would be hurtful because then I would have to go do this all over again. So, you know, it's really important that for me, because I don't want to have to do it all over again, that it's in the right spot. So I just, take extra care to make sure that it's in the right spot. By using like just one color, like a dark brown or whatever the color of the thing that you're trying to represent, like just using one color and trying to make sure that that it's in the right spot. So yeah, this is getting there. It's taking a while. But this is how you get better. And the more I do this, the more I get used to it, the better I will be at painting arms. Or painting figures, shapes that look like arms. Alright. She's looking a little buff there. Okay. Alright, so let's move over to this side. I think her dress is doing well. Okay, let's focus. So this is here. It's here like that. Come over a little bit. That's right there. And then this, that means this is more. It's actually like this. Yeah. This is actually what's happening. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay. All right. I think I'm happy with her arms. And the next thing I have to do is the face. So for those who are watching, I basically spent about 25 minutes getting the body the way that I wanted it to be. Not super long, but that's how long it took me to do. And getting the proportions right and getting her properly, centered on the screen. That's what it took. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my flow down and like just kind of blend out her dress a little bit, just so it's not too noticeable. I want the tones to be subtle, be a little more gradual. Yeah. And then once we're done with her dress or her shirt or whatever it is, we will continue onto her face, which is basically done. I think it's basically done because I spent the time to get everything where I thought it should be, and yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time. A lot of progress. All right, that's my timer. I'm going to keep working. So my timer says that I have a 5-minute break. And remember I was saying earlier, like, if you don't feel like starting and then you start, you just want to keep going. So sometimes the hardest part is getting started. So I'm just going to keep going. I'll probably work for another 15, maybe another 15 minutes because I have to go move the car so I don't get a ticket. I think they come at 8. I think they start coming at 8 o'clock. I move the car in, I gotta go start doing other things. Get the day started, work stuff, graphic design stuff. We made some good progress. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's a siren. This is what I meant by in the morning time, it's quiet and there's no noise, but as you can hear, the city is starting to wake up. My Zen mode is leaving. The noise of the city. Alright, let's go in and work on this face. The arm still needs some work. I really not. Let's see if I can try to get the arm a little bit better. Still needs some work. Come in later with a really soft brush and like smooth those arms out. So we'll come in closer. We'll just deal with the face right now. I mean, like I said, the face is pretty much done. Like, we did most of the work already. Now we just gotta come in and refine it, and then that's it. Alright, let's check. Make sure we're still running. Still recording, still streaming. We're good, we're good. See what it looks like on there. Alright, let's keep going. Let's finish this out. Okay. Flow down. Okay. So right now, my opacity is my opacity is at 31, and my flow is at 35. Let's just make them 30, just for the fun of it, because of continuity purposes. So opacity is at 30 and flow is at 30. While I work on her face, I might change it as I continue along, but I'll let you guys know if I update it. So something that's cool is that she's in a room, in a green room, and so a lot of those tones are coming out in the highlights of her face. I think that's really cool. I think it's gonna look cool, and it's a artistic choice, but you can push that if you want. Like, you can choose to really push those tones, those green tones, and exaggerate them a little bit just for more effect. So that's what I decided to do, because it's my world. So I'm still keeping everything in mind. Still really trying to. Now that I'm closer, I can really see where her shoulders are, and I really can get in there and refine it and make it look official, because now I can see what I'm doing. Before, I wasn't going in blind, but I was kind of guesstimating where things were, which is fine. Maybe her chin actually comes down a little bit lower, like that. Her lips, like that. This actually is like that. So because I got the general structure of her head, it's just going in and just refining the shapes, which is fun. Like, now I don't gotta figure out where everything is. Her head is already mapped out more or less. A little more yellow. Just repeating colors, using colors all over the place. Just really trying to really focus on getting her eye area correct, her nose area correct. Shoot. I really wish I could listen to music, but YouTube doesn't like that. YouTube doesn't like it if you listen to music that's not kosher. YouTube will flag your things if the music is not kosher. Let's zoom out real quick. Zoom out. Yeah, this is looking good. Zoom back in. Alright, so we're almost done. 7:38. Yeah, this is perfect. Like, if you can get up early enough, you could just, people always like, oh, there's no time to paint, and I agree. Like, if you go to work all day, and you come home like after work, you're not gonna want to paint. Like it's just not gonna happen. Um, but if you just get up like an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier, um, you can find a time. And it just so happens that I just get up really really early. So I'm not judging you if you don't get up early. I just for whatever reason, maybe it's because of the weather, the daylight savings time or whatever. I just been getting up dumb early, like stupid early, and I realized that I was spending a lot of that time on the internet in the mornings. I was like, I could be I could be doing something else. And so it hit me. I could be using this time to paint. So here I am. It's been a lot of fun. This painting is fun. Okay, let's get this area of her nose situated. Let's just buckle in, darling. This. And I'm using a really soft brush. Yeah, still my 30, using a 30 brush. It's really soft. Let's get some of that green in here. Yeah, there it is. Some of that reflective green color in this area. Um, Zoom out a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna stay zoomed out for a second just so I can match some of these tones, get some of these subtle tones right. Sometimes I go, yeah, there we go. Yep, that's looking good. approaching or nearing completion. Let me save this. Yes, this has come out. Maybe I'll make a, I don't know, maybe if somebody sees this one day, they'll give me a comment. Maybe I'll make a, since this was a live, I'll do like, basically the live and then like maybe the speed version. Like maybe I'll make a time-lapse version. It's a lot of watching. Keep in mind, this is still under an hour. We've been painting for, let's see, I got 13 minutes left, so under 50 minutes still. We're getting there. We're coming to a close, but just to show you guys how much work you can get done in under an hour if you just decide that you want to do it. Let's keep working on this so I can go move the car. so quiet. Focus. I think this is done, y'all. I think this is complete. Yeah, yeah. I am happy with how this turned out. Zoom out a little bit. Cool. All right, I'm done. And I did it in under 50 minutes. Yeah. Let me see. Check the time. I've been recording for 52 minutes. And a lot of that was me talking. So, I think I'm done here. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Take it easy.